Good afternoon, EDU 500 students. I thought I'd craft and share this video with you all as we transition from the first module that was generally on education research and transition to this new module in which you'll be designing your research proposals, research studies and your proposals. So first off, I wanted to just share that I thought that the last discussion board posts on theory and educational research were really thoughtfully crafted. I noticed the incorporation of my feedback in your discussion about your research topics, and as well as the use of the readings, the reading from Cresswell on theory, as well as the suggested readings on theory and methods. So I think that your work is coming along, progressing along in ways that are strategic and that will support you in both designing your proposals around teacher action research for this course and then engaging in those studies in 544 or beyond if you are going to be graduating at the end of this semester. And I'll also just say that I thought that your feedback to your peers was again really thoughtful and specific and clear. So we'll continue to engage in activities where you'll be giving feedback to one another. So again, I just want to underscore that the feedback to peers was appropriate, and you'll notice in my individual feedback to you all that in many cases I agreed with the feedback that you shared with your peers. Okay, so you'll be beginning this new module, and I just wanted to sort of welcome you to this second segment of the course. The purpose of this segment is twofold. First, you'll be learning about research design through reading. So we'll be reading from Cresswell. I'll also be supplementing that reading with additional texts. And then second, you'll be developing your research proposal. So you'll be doing two things at once. You'll develop your proposal through discussion, through writing assignments, and through instructor and peer feedback, and then obviously through revision. So the idea is that at the end of this module, you'll have a pretty thorough draft of your research proposal, which is the outcome for this course. So this work is developmental. The learning objectives that will be addressed within this segment add on to the learning objectives from the first module. So some of them include the ability to classify research by purpose and method. Some of y'all are already doing that, making some decisions. Oh, I'm going to do a qualitative study, I'm going to do a quantitative study, or this is a mixed method study. You'll also be developing an understanding of the nature of and procedures for observation and measurement in research. You'll be recognizing the sources of research problems, which again, some of you all have already been doing. You'll be identifying, clarifying, and writing a research problem statement. You'll be continuing to demonstrate an ability to use reference tools in the library to search for literature relative to your research topic and problem statement. And in that work, you'll be continuing to evaluate research reports and apply those findings to practice. Lastly, you'll be describing the characteristics and purposes of hypothesis in education research, identifying and explaining the purpose of the individual parts of a research plan or proposal, and then continuing to apply format of APA style guidelines and technical and stylistic guidelines as you write your research proposal. So this module includes 8 writing assignments. Make sure that all of your writing assignments include in-text and citations and reference pages, and that you're using the format for APA. And I'll give an overview, just some more supportive material about APA in a separate video. So beginning with the initial module, this is the first module that you'll start with in this segment, that is called Research Design Overview. You'll construct a draft of your proposal. So this draft is going to contain the same parts of, or similar parts to, the proposal that you'll be submitting at the end of the module. So this segment proceeds developmentally, and you'll come back to each section of your proposal across several weeks to refine, to revise the work based on feedback. And that will be instructor feedback and peer feedback. So again, at the end of the module, the goal is to have crafted a coherent proposal draft that represents the incorporation of course readings and feedback. So I'm asking you to sort of start with drafting the proposal that demonstrates what you know already, and also to be challenged by the sections that you don't know how to construct, and that is completely okay. Those are going to be the sections that you'll attend to very carefully in your revision across the next few weeks. So for this first module, you will read chapters 4 and 5 of Cresswell and design the preliminary draft. And I'm only asking you to include, this isn't all the parts of your proposal, but the parts that are included are an introduction to your research context, your purpose for your research, and your goals. And some of you have already begun to articulate that, particularly in the last post. Second, you'll be sharing your conceptual framework that undergirds your study. So you did some reading on theory. Your conceptual framework is your lens for engaging in research, your worldview, your epistemological stance, your positionality. I've used all of those terms and we've engaged in all of those work, as well as the theoretical underpinnings that you'll be using to analyze the data in your study. So you had a couple of different readings from Cresswell and additional readings on theory. Name what the theory or theories are that you're going to use. Third, you'll need to include a review of the relevant literature. So I've been reminding you to continue reading about your topic. So I know that you're still, some of you are probably still learning to engage in a review of literature. For now, you would include a summary of the studies that you've read thus far about your topic, and in a future module within this segment, you'll be learning how to craft a literature review in the sense of what we ask for in educational research. Fourth, you'll be including your research question or questions. You all have gotten some feedback from me about those research questions. So you'll name those questions and you'll be getting some further feedback. And fifth, you'll be discussing your research methods. So the Cresswell readings thus far have talked about qualitative methods, quantitative methods, and mixed methods approaches. So you can draw from the text to discuss how you will engage in data collection and data analysis practices. So I want you all to keep in mind a couple of things. First, you're crafting a proposal. So most of this assignment should be written in the future tense, right? Because you're proposing the study that you're going to engage in. You're proposing the teacher research that you'll complete in the future. So in other words, you would state things like, I will study, or I plan to use quantitative methods such as. So make sure that you write in the future tense because you haven't conducted the study yet. The exception to this is when you write the literature review in which you discuss studies that are relevant to your topic, but obviously those have already been conducted. So just to sum up here, the first module, you'll be working on a preliminary draft of your research study. You're going to draw from the research proposal criteria to develop this research study design, and I understand that this will be a challenge, but know that you'll be coming back to sort of redevelop, redesign, revise, refine all of the parts that I'm asking you to complete for this initial assignment in the coming weeks. So this is a constructivist model for engaging in this work. Be on the lookout for additional readings to support your work throughout this module, and be prepared to be giving some feedback to your peers. So as we work together and I begin to see a little bit more about what you plan to study and how you plan to engage in those studies, you'll be paired up with at least one other person to provide some feedback. But for now, just work on crafting your design. The format is through discussion board, so you'll see that assignment posted as well. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me via email, through office hours. Don't forget the readings. Don't forget to also supplement your readings with other pieces that you think are useful. And I'll see you virtually. Thank you.